welcome back to Up the Villa podcast. How are we all doing? I am already missing football, but I've got to kick it off by saying one thing that struck my eye the other day. Well, it was yesterday. Burnley are back in training.
What?
Does that not feel weird? That
What, proper full-time training, like for a season?
Literally back off pre-season. Well, it is pre-season now for them. So they've had like 4 weeks off or 5 weeks off since their last game. Because don't forget, we've had the playoffs.
Yeah.
They've all had a break, and now they're back.
That's still early, though. That is early.
To me, this feels
they're loving
like
company, ain't
they? it just feels like they're going to like steamroll into the season while everyone else has got their feet up. And I just found that pretty mental, to be fair.
To be fair, they won the league in January, didn't they? They've been chilling since January anyway. So, yeah, man, flipping out. They're going to be wanting to hit the ground running, aren't they? Hit the ground running.
I think they might be burnt out by the first game, though.
No excuses if they start badly, innit?
Yeah, so I think they're going to be burnt out. But we had FA Cup action last weekend, and I've got to say, I thought it was quite an all right game. It weren't the best, but you know, Gundogan's start to that game in the first 16 seconds, absolute blockbuster. But we have the big one this weekend, don't we? The Champions League final, and I think our old friend Mr. Grealish is going to get his hands on that trophy. And I've got to say, I am completely over it now. I'm like, not even bothered what he wins. To be fair, I think I'd be quite happy for him to see him lift it, to be fair. And that's just me being like brutally honest, because I think we can all look back now, especially on Ashley Young, can't we? You know, there was probably a lot of us back then that were heartbroken that he left, and you feel about his career and he wins trophies. And then we welcome him back with open arms, absolutely love him. Everybody's gutted he's now left. And I just think, you know, I don't know, how do you not feel about Grealish now?
I hope him to win it only because I don't want Man City, the club, to win it. But
yeah,
if they do go on and win it, then I think fair play to Jack. I mean, I remember Dwight York leaving us to get to Man United, and that was gutted at the time. But he went and won the treble with Man United, and I remember thinking at the time, fair play. You know, you weren't never going to win the treble at Villa, and you know, it's a short career for a footballer. You want to win as much as you can. And he had a rough 12 months when he first went there, but he's become the player we all know he was and is. I love watching him play. You know, again, now I think he's finally settled into the side, and he's the only one out of them, really, that I'll be rooting for to win it. And fair play to him. You know, if he goes and wins the treble, then ultimately he took a huge decision to leave his boyhood club that he loves to go and play for City. Yes, it was a club that generally wins a lot of things, so it was almost guaranteed to win trophies, but they haven't won the Champions League yet, so Haaland and Jack look like they could be the key to winning it for them.
Yeah,
struck up a good friendship, ain't they, Haaland and Grealish?
Yeah, because I watched, I don't know how this happened, but it's just on my general algorithm that I was watching something on TikTok, and Grealish popped up talking to this little kid. And I think it weren't long ago. And it basically, this little kid was like, who'd you support? And he went, Villa and Man City. And I felt like, do you know what? Like, he's still a Villa fan. Do you know what I mean?
He is, yeah. He'll always be a Villa fan, won't he?
And I just think for me, like, I know, like, Man City aside, you know, what Pep's done with that team this season, you know, tactically with those hybrid fullbacks. And I know he's got the best players, so he should be playing the best football, but it still evolves how he plays and tactically how he sets the teams up. So I like Man City as a tactical team, Guardiola, as a whole club of what they've done. I don't really like them, but I think Grealish as a whole and the way they play, you know, I enjoy watching them, and I'm not too scared to say it, to be fair. So it is a big game, but Justin, you saying you want Inter to win, they haven't got a chance, have they?
They haven't got a chance because they haven't got Jose Mourinho in charge. It's the only chance they'd have had of winning it, I think, to shit house a 1-0. But, I mean, they've got a chance. Of course, they have, to final. We saw Man United, do reasonably well against City as well, didn't we? So I can't see anything other than a City win, if I'm brutally honest. They're just absolutely amazing this season, and they've just got better and better and better as the season's gone on. I watched the Inter Milan, AC Milan semi-finals, and they were just about the better team, but English teams now are probably the best teams in Europe at the moment, I think, when push comes to shove. So I do expect a City win. And it'll be a shame for another English club's name to go on that trophy, because it's good. I like the fact that there's only a few of us that have won it, but I think it was like the Chelsea thing, really. I always felt at some point Chelsea were going to win it. You throw enough money at something, you're going to win it, aren't you? Look what's happening in Saudi Arabia at the moment with that league. You throw enough money at anything, and you'll be successful. So, yeah, they will win it. I like Guardiola. I understand what you're saying about his tactical way he goes about it, but I'd like him to go and manage somebody that's not one of the best teams in the country. He was lucky when he dropped in the Barcelona job to have that literally probably one of the best teams of all time. Then he chooses to get to Bayern, who won everything for about the past 10 seasons anyway. Then he comes to England, to City, with unlimited wealth and can win anything and get anybody they want. So, for me, I'd like to see him, the next move he makes, to go somewhere where he's not guaranteed to be that, he'll probably get to Celtic next one and win about 53 on the trot there. So, yeah, he's a good manager, without question, he's a good manager. But I'd like to see him put his philosophies in somewhere else. I mean, go and do it at Southampton and see how successful you are there.
Yeah, that'd be strange. But you mentioned Saudi Arabia, and there's a couple of big players going there now, and it just now feels like that whole, remember that China league, like that Chinese league that was like the next big thing, and
it went bankrupt.
You've got like Benzema's gone there. His mate Ronaldo's there. Kante might be going there. Zaha's now linked to be going there. What's the vibe with that league? Because I just can't ever imagine me sitting down on a Sunday night and thinking, you know what?
No.
Let's have a watch of this. Where does the appetite for that come from?
It's the same with the MLS as well. They attracted a lot of players at one time as well, but the league and the rest of the club and the rest of the players, there's no attraction at all to watch them games, is there? You're watching Benzema, they're like exhibition matches, really, with one star in each team. And it's sports washing, and it's blatantly sports washing. You've seen with the golf as well today that they've finally done a deal between the PGA and Live. And it was like standoff, wasn't it? 2 years of absolute standoff. We're not going to touch it. We're not going to go anywhere near it. Next thing you know, throw enough money at it. Keep throwing the money. $2 billion deal? And now they're partnered up. So, yeah, hopefully it all falls flat on their face. But the funds are there, aren't they? And they just keep rolling and rolling. And it looks like United will be state-owned soon. So what's that? Three of the top 6 clubs in the country, state-owned by countries. So it's the way it's going at the minute, isn't it?
I think they have to throw money at it at the moment to get better named players in, to raise the profile of the league, to hopefully try and improve the quality of the league. That's the way they're trying to do it. But as you said earlier, the Chinese tried that by trying to get some of the best players in the world in, and they never really kicked on from that. Whereas America have been quite successful in using the bigger name players to get over there, to improve the sort of fans' perspective on it, to raise the profile of the league, and then that obviously encourage homegrown players, as we've seen with the actual American national side, to improve. And then we've seen players now coming from the MLS to European leagues, like we saw with Almiron coming, who I always really liked playing in the MLS. I thought he's a good player, and he's come and made the switch. So, they are improving, and I think that's what the Saudi League are trying to do. But at the moment, it just looks like an over-30s league, retirement. I mean, if you're giving Benzema £200 million a year, there's rumours that they're trying to give Messi £400 million a year.
How can you turn that down? You can't.
You can't. I don't blame the players. It's not the players. It's the people giving him the money that's
because
the problem, isn't it?
It's like Anthony Joshua. he was Mr. O2, weren't he? In the Lions Den, he called it, didn't he? Like every fight he used to have there. But now he ain't bothered about it. He'll go and fight in Saudi Arabia every single fight he has now because he just knows that the dough's there. So, you know, and what you're saying about these players, you know, the players that are going, it's like these players aren't like sort of going in their prime, are they? They're going like
No.
at the back end of it. So it feels a bit like, I don't know if any of you feel like this, but whenever I watch a World Cup, I absolutely love the start of a World Cup. You know, the novelty of like game after game after game, watching all these players. But when you get to the end of the World Cup, I'll get to a point where I'm just like, I can't be asked anymore to watch this. And I feel like that's what it's like watching some of these players, because they're at the back end of their careers. You get to a point where you're like, I'm bored of you now. Like, I want to watch the fresh, juicy, good stuff, not the boring has-beens at the end of their careers. So
I just can't imagine many people. I can't imagine many people tuning in to watch this Saudi league. They might watch the odd game and say, "Oh, you know, that was it." But the quality is going to be terrible. I mean, Benzema said already that it's a good league. There are many good players there. Yes, he's got to say this for the. You know, he's been prompted to say it, isn't he, for the press and everything. But it's not a good league, is it? I mean, what's Ronaldo? You know, even he struggled there to score goals, I think. And I don't know. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Because the thing is, it's okay being the best player, but if the players around you have got no vision or can't put that ball to
he gets fed up at Real Madrid that no one will pass to him. You know, what's he going to be like when he's got a Sunday league player not passing to him? You know, fed up.
The thing is as well, he's got millions and millions and millions of followers, and there's people that will go and support whatever team he's playing.
Yeah,
and I bet you if 2 or 3% of them people have tuned into them Saudi games, there's no way, there's no appetite for it whatsoever. League, No, and he must rock up at training and go, "What the fuck? Look at the state of this team! Like, look at, you know, you've had this glorious career, Champions League, Ballon d'Ors, played at the highest level, and then you're seeing out your days surrounded by, like, it would be an embarrassment to say they're flipping our like conference level or what, because these players are tosh, man.
Don't you think it'd be nice? Don't you think it'd be nice if like one of these footballers come out and said, "I'm signing for Al, whoever it is, Al, I can't remember the name, Al,
give me money,
Attiyad or whatever it is," and just came out and said, "Yeah, I got an offer to get to Burnley. I've just been promoted for like 60 grand a week, or I've got an offer for £1 million a week to get there. So obviously I'm going to go there for the money." Why not just be honest? Who's going to turn that down? No. Instead of saying it's a good league and there's good players there, you know, I'd rather go and play in the sun for 12 months and earn £1 million a week than get to Burnley. I mean, I would. But yeah.
So another big appointment.
No offence, Burnley.
And I don't know I'll see what you guys feel of this one. I don't know where I'm at with it. Big Ange has gone to Spurs from Celtic.
You're not going to try his surname, Luke?
Postecoglou.
Yes.
I've been practicing it as well.
Hey, I know it, but if you go Big Ange, it's safer, in it. Just in
Big
case
Ange,
you.
I just think of Dirty Den. If you say Big Ange.
So Big Ange is in. I think he was probably 5th choice, 6th choice, maybe.
I think you're being generous there.
And I'm seeing, you know, that you have these general reactions, don't you? So, like, Rory Jennings is saying, what a mistake. And then you've got other ones that are trying to turn the narrative and say, like, you know, he needs respect. He's been around. He's a really, really experienced manager. You know, he's managed, like, teams in Australia, you know, blah, blah, blah. So he has got experience as a manager, but you can't say he hasn't got Premier League manager experience. That's not an excuse. So how are we feeling with it? Because this is a big job. It's huge. Like, Conte can't get to grips with it. Mourinho can't get to grips with it. Like, they didn't get time. So Spurs were like 4th, weren't they, during this season? Like, they were a 4th in the league and they were having complete meltdown. Now, how's this guy that's going to rock up now, that's having to rebuild this club, going to get time? and patience.
I
just
quite
don't
like
get
him,
it.
you know. I quite like
Do
him.
you
I think
think he'll
he's.
get time?
I don't know. I think the biggest problem he's going to face is if he loses Harry Kane, which he's looking more and more odds on, because if you lose your basically the golden boy of Tottenham, how do you replace him? And you're fighting against the tide immediately, aren't you? So, you know, you're dropping 30 goals a season immediately by losing him. And there's rumours that he's going to bring that Celtic striker down with him, who's had a good season up there. But he's not Harry Kane, is he? So, I quite like him as a manager. I like his aura, I like his bravado, I like the way he talks. He's dead. He's honest. Does that mean he's going to be a success in the Premier League? I don't know. I heard Pep Guardiola talking really highly of him today because he said he managed one of their feeder clubs when he was in in China, was it somewhere like that?
Japan.
Yeah, somewhere like that, China, Japan, and he said he's a really good manager. So time will tell, won't it? I don't think it's a terrible appointment. I think some of the ones they were linked with have gone elsewhere, but my gut instinct is I don't think it's a bad appointment. I think he's gone at the wrong time. A bit like going into Man United after Fergie. You know, you go to Spurs after Kane. It's a nightmare, isn't it?
I sort of agree with you that it's a good move, but you've got to back him, haven't you? You've got to back him, and Levy's got to give him time because you know what it's like.
They'll have the money if Kane goes, won't he?
Yeah, and
so go for big money.
Do you think Kane going could be a fresh start, a fresh beginning for him? I know it sounds crazy to say, like, he will go. I don't know. Tottenham seem obsessed with, like, Kane's got to break this record. Kane's got to do this. Kane's got to do that. And I know he's the main man, but sometimes...
Jack was with us, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, I just feel like it's just run its course now. They've just become too obsessed. They've got big coach. They've had big coaches in. They've had Mourinho. They've had Conte, and they aren't builders. Like, so
you know what, Ryan? I think the problem with Spurs is it's run as a business, and he put that stadium in to be an all year round event hub, like the O2, like what was in London, and it's NFL, it's concerts, it's and the Spurs fans, although they love the stadium and they love the club, obviously they see now they've the heart ripped out of the club that it's not a football club anymore. You know, my best mate who passed Terry, who's a massive Spurs fan, and I've talked to a lot of his mates who are down there, and they go week in week out, and they're fed up. They want the owner out. They don't want the manager changed. They want Levy gone because they say he's running it into the ground the way he's running the club, and I think until he goes, I don't think Spurs are going to do any good.
I just feel like they've lost focus because all their best years, when they're a very attractive club, attractive football, under Poch, getting Champions League finals, Poch was a builder. He'd promote youth. And then he sort of like you say, got the stadium in, then they wanted that manager, Mourinho, who could get in that trophy, hungry for that trophy. And Mourinho's not a builder. He'll build a team for a 2-season jobby, get a trophy, smell you later. Conte's the same. Again, he's just like, he wants the best players in there. 2 years, I'm out of here. If I've got a trophy, great. Now, the big Ange, right, he's a builder. And you've got to give him time. Because you see him... your man, what's his name? The ex-Wolves manager.
Nuno
went there. Yeah, 6 games in, out the door, out the door. So I think it's going to be a little rough period. I don't think the squad's the best. I think they've got to try and get a bit of personality back into it.
He'll have two problems. One is that he wasn't first choice. He was, like Luke said, 5th, maybe 6th choice. Pretty much that was universally seen, the way they were going after managers left, right, centre. And the second thing, he's having to sort of get without Kane. So how much patience will the fans have? I don't know.
And that's the thing, because it's about I think with Spurs now, it's about the fans understanding what and where they are. Yeah. Because number one, what's the objective? Like, I think you need to understand what because they're the 8th best team currently in the Premier League. So from where they were, from that sort of like the 3rd or 4th in years gone by to now the 8th, right? You take Kane out of that situation, you've lost 30 goals every season, gone. Yeah. So one, you're having to now go and find a striker who can have some sort of impact and maybe get, say, 15, 20 to counteract the 30 that have gone. So already there's like, you've sold your best player, your eighth best team. You're trying to get in the Champions League. You've got to have a massive rebuild with your whole squad. So I just think it's.
But if that happens, does that take the pressure off him? So say if he comes in and Kane goes now this summer, Tottenham.
Well, it's an excuse then. It's an excuse of why he's not doing well, isn't it?
Yeah, but is it? You've got to back him then, ain't you? You've got a season of
the money
transition to try and put something.
The key, Lloris is on his way out, isn't he?
Yeah, so you're losing two stalwarts there, wouldn't you? You're losing Lloris and Kane.
What's his name? The England centre half.
Dyer.
Dyer, who's Dyer? He's going. So they are in for a big rebuild. I think within 2 seasons they've switched. They lose Kane and they've switched places with us.
There's no point letting your man do it for half a season and then sacking him off. At Christmas.
No. But the fans have got to accept that. They've got to accept it's a 12-month, 18-month, possibly 2-year rebuild to get back to challenging for Europe, not Champions League, challenging for Europe, because you got Newcastle, you got us, Chelsea will be back next season, Liverpool are going to be strong, United are going to be pushing, possibly going for Kane. That's without the top Arsenal, Man City, and the other three. They're going to be struggling to hit.
If the season was 10 games longer now, they'd finish below 8th, wouldn't they? They're not like 8th looking up; they're 8th looking down at the minute. Spurs, which is good for us.
Spurs and Chelsea are the two real underperforming teams last year. You can definitely make a case for the Chelsea making a big comeback because they're not going to lose players and they've got a good manager that's proven going in there. And all he needs to do is probably clear the decks and bring 1 or 2 in and get it settled. Whereas the Spurs job is a totally different kettle of fish.
It looks huge, man.
Massive rebuild with a team that was already crumbling last season and looked devoid of confidence and everything.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I like him, but I
like him.
I just think that job is absolutely.
Brave. He's brave.
Have you watched some of his motivational speeches?
No. Yeah, I've saw one. It's good, isn't it?
Justin is on your level, mate. Some of them speeches you give us at Villa Park for that game we played. He's up there with that.
I did make a good comeback last week with our last minute winner.
What happened then, Justin?
Yeah, it's good. We had another good day. Played the same team as our podcast team played last year. We won 4-0 last year, and they definitely came to play this year. They had a couple of nice little different centre halves, and about 6'2", won everything and looked really strong. Keeper was good. We went 1-0 down. Got it back to 1-1 with a good management change just on the half an hour mark. Within 30 seconds of the substitution, we got it back to 1-1. And then pushed in the second half. Really should have gone ahead, I think, in the second half. Had quite a few chances. And then they hit us on a bit of a break and scored a good goal. And then with the last few minutes of the game, we managed to nick a draw. So it was good. It was a really good day. You can't, just being in that surroundings and looking around at the pitch, and lovely sunny day as well. We played in good spirits. So, yeah, really fantastic. Loved doing it.
Awesome stuff. So, me and Justin on my second channel are going to do a big Ashes preview. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the Ashes. Ryan, will you be watching much of it?
Yes, mate. I've got a ticket for day 5 if it gets that far at Edgbaston for the first test. To be fair, it was the only one I could get. I left it too late, so it was my.
Having said that, Ryan, I've got day 4 tickets. I think I've been.
Even that's tight, mate. Even that's
very tight. Yeah, I always like to try and get the winning day if I can.
Because the last time I went was 2015. I think that was when we last won it. That was when we last won it, 2015. So I always remember that. I had a great month because we had all the FA Cup run. Then I went to Glastonbury and then we went to the Ashes. And that one I had a day 3 ticket for that one. And like 2 days, we nearly skittled them out. And we only needed like 2 more wickets. And then Mitchell Johnson put on like a 50 stand and it like drawn the day out. But there was about 10 of us that went and we thought we was only going to see a few balls. So we like 2 pointers at a time. Bang, 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 bang. We was there till 4 o'clock. It was absolutely steaming. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No action for you then, mate. We'd already won it.
Yeah, but through having day 4 tickets and didn't get to see any cricket, we then made a decision to go and have day 1 at Trent Bridge. And that turned out to be possibly the greatest day. I've got it up there. I don't know if you can see it. That was the greatest day's cricket of my life. That was watching Stuart Broad 8 for 15 in the first session. I took my mate who hadn't been to a Test cricket before, and we bowled the Aussies out by lunch. And he turned around, he said, "This is great." And I said, Gaz, never ever go to another cricket game in your life because it will never ever get any better than that.
You'll just be disappointed
ever. Yeah, and it was fantastic. But yeah, can't wait for it. It's it's one thing that'll get me through the summer, the Ashes. Hopefully with a good positive result.
It will indeed. So we'll end the episode there then. Something a little bit different from us. We're going to be doing these episodes once a week. General chat about absolutely anything. So in the comments, if you do want us to talk about anything, then put it in there and we can have a little chat about it. Keep it clean. And then, so we'll be back probably for another Transfer Hub some point there going down very, very well. When the window opens, we've got a couple of new little cheekies that will be coming out as well. So, cheers, everyone. Speak to you all soon. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.